Some Democrats walked out.
This is my fifth such speech to Congress. And once again,
Good morning and welcome to the video live stream for the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. It is Wednesday, March 5th, and I am pleased to have a whole bunch of people in the studio. Thank you for bringing a whole bunch of people.
Oh, you're so welcome.
So Lori Berry is the person here who we're talking probably most about today, but we'll also have some students. She's saying no. And to deflect attention from her, she's brought in students with her. She's brought in, let me make sure I get this right, Layla Garcia, who's a senior and immediate past governor of the Key Club, right?
Immediate past secretary.
Immediate past secretary, excuse me. Juhi Bhatt, excuse me. We'll get this right. Joey Berry, who's a junior and newly elected district treasurer. And I'm sorry, Juhi, you are junior and newly elected 25-26 district secretary?
Yep.
Okay, very good. And Lori Berry, who is the International Key of Honor Award winner. What do you do as your day job?
My day job is teaching at St. Joe High School.
Excellent.
I teach food nutrition and culinary arts, and I'm also the Key Club advisor, and so that's what brought me here today.
Fantastic. Well, we look forward to exploring all of that and finding out what a Key Club advisor does, what the Key Club does, and how your students serve and participate in that, and how and why you got the highest recognition that they give out in the Key Club. That is, congratulations.
Well, thank you. I think that it's these probably three who started it, right? Or
they started the trouble.
Layla,
okay.
even, who started the trouble. Yeah, I mean, apparently, and maybe you should speak to it more, but they gathered a whole bunch of letters of recommendation and sent them in with a big application. And I found out at our state convention, which was in Lansing 2 weekends ago. Has it been 2 weekends?
Wow.
And yeah, it was very surprising as they were leading up, because we've never had this award since I've been going to these state conventions and now awarded, And so as they're listing, the qualifications and the things, and I'm thinking, oh, surely it's, so-and-so who I've worked with for so long. And I'm looking over at her table, and then I'm thinking, oh, it's surely that. And I'm looking at their table. And then when Layla got up and started saying some things, I thought, wait a minute. That sounds very familiar. She's talking about my life right now. And I'm like, oh, you're joking. And then I started to freak out. So.
That's amazing. What a great moment.
Yeah, it really was. It was
So
exciting.
they surprised you with it.
They did. They very much did, yes.
That's fantastic. Okay, we'll explore that. We'll explore a little bit about your background. I'm fascinated by the culinary stuff.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we can cover
So
that too.
Are you a foodie? Do you consider yourself a foodie?
Definitely.
What kind of food do you like?
Everything.
Okay.
Anything and everything.
All right.
Sorry,
Okay.
no, it's boring.
No, that's good. All right, we'll talk about that and more. We'll hear from the students who surprised their instructor with this, or their Key Club advisor, I should say.
Correct.
Okay, we'll talk about that in just a few minutes right here after news on the WSJM Morning Show. Good morning, I'm Ken Lundberg. Thank you for joining us. If you have any questions or thoughts about Key Club, feel free to put them in the comments section on our video live stream. We're going live on YouTube and Facebook right now. We'll be back on the radio, and we'll have news in just a moment on WSJM.
Some sort of guilt or menacing aspect to it. And for that reason, the defense believes that the death penalty should be struck.
This is the Kohberger team's latest attempt to have the death penalty removed. Previously, his attorney cited that it's unconstitutional and arbitrarily applied. The trial, meanwhile, is set for August.
That's ABC's Andrew Dimbert. Greenland's prime minister reiterating Greenland is ours and cannot be taken or bought. Those words in defiance to President Trump, who vowed again during his speech last night to acquire the territory, in his words, one way or another. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
WSJM News Now. Team coverage from the WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
Good morning and welcome again to the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. It's Wednesday, March 5th, 7:05 a.m., and we have 47 degrees in Benton Harbor right now, 46 degrees and windy in St. Joseph. Cloudy skies, windy in South Haven, where it's 46. In New Buffalo right now, it's 47 degrees. Buchanan is 47 degrees. Pretty consistent around Southwest Michigan right now. Even though the thermometer says 47 degrees, the feels like temperature in Benton Harbor right now is 37. We do have a forecast that does include some snow today. Believe it or not. Cloudy skies today, mostly rain, but then changing to snow by the evening. It's going to be windy throughout the day. We're going to have falling temperatures through the afternoon. The high today is supposed to reach around 50, and then we're going to drop all the way into the upper 20s probably by the evening period. South winds 15 to 25 miles per hour, gusts up to 30. Tonight's forecast, cloudy, 80% chance of snow. That accumulation, according to the meteorologists here, say could be between 1 and 2 inches of snow overnight. A low around 27, northwest winds 20 to 25 miles per hour, and gusts up to 45 miles per hour. So it's going to be a very windy one. If you've got the lawn furniture outside, make sure you have something heavy holding it down. Thursday's forecast, partly sunny, that is, windy and cold. A slight chance of snow showers early, a high around 35, and then northwest winds gusting up to 35 miles per hour. As we head toward the weekend, Friday, mostly cloudy, a 50% chance of rain or snow, high around 38. Saturday, partly sunny and cool, high around 40. Sunday, partly sunny. Monday, partly sunny. And as we enter the new week, Monday and Tuesday, the temperatures are going to be beautiful. At least on paper, they look like it. Partly sunny on Monday with a high around 55 degrees. And then Tuesday, 63. We're getting excited around 63 degrees. So Tuesday is going to be a nice warm day. Our guests in the studio this hour, we have Lori Berry, who's an instructor at St. Joseph High School, International Key of Honor Award winner, plus several students. We have Layla Garcia, Juhi Bot, I got that right this time, Joey Berry as well. They are all here, and they're key members of the Key Club. So we'll talk about how they nominated their instructor, their advisor for Key Club, and she won. She won the highest recognition award presented by Key Club International. So we'll have that in a few minutes right here. That interview will be on WSJM, and it will also be on our video live stream. First, let's get a couple of news items in. WSJM has learned that Baroda Lake Township's police chief has been placed on unpaid administrative leave, pending an investigation by Michigan State Police. Lake Township Supervisor Zach Carson says Chief Sean Martin was placed on unpaid administrative leave as of February 26. Michigan State Police confirmed the investigation, but have disclosed no details on what the investigation is about. In the meantime, Lieutenant Wesley Koza has been named interim police chief for Baroda Lake Township. Cases of suspected bird flu have been found in Allegan County. Michigan Department of Natural Resources Wildlife Outreach Coordinator Rachel Lincoln tells us that bird flu has been confirmed this year in at least 5 Michigan counties, including Kalamazoo and St. Joseph counties. In Allegan, she says DNR staffers collected 77 dead Canada geese and 1 dead mallard from the Fenville Farm Unit at the Allegan State Game Area.
Those animals were submitted to the DNR's Wildlife Health Lab, and they came back as suspect positive for HPAI. So now they're sent to another laboratory to confirm that those birds do, in fact, have HPAI. And it's likely that they do, but we can't actually confirm it until we receive those results back from the next institution.
Lincoln says it's believed bird flu is widespread around Michigan among the wild bird population. The state's concern is keeping those cases separate from domestic birds like chickens. The Michigan Department of Agriculture and Rural Development has developed rigorous practices, they say, for farmers. However, Lincoln says everyone is advised to take steps to keep wild birds separate from domestics. She recommends regularly cleaning any bird feeders and not keeping wild bird feeders near domestic bird populations. Also, Lincoln tells people to stay away from dead birds. The Allegan County Health Department adds, if exposed to an infected bird, individuals should watch for symptoms of flu for 10 days after the last contact with that bird. It notes that bird flu can be treated in similar ways to the seasonal flu. Benton Township is outsourcing its assessing department. The Benton Township Board of Trustees voted on Tuesday night to hire Northrop Assessing of Marcellus to take over assessing services there. Township Supervisor Kathy Yates tells us the task is currently handled by internal staff, but to save money, Benton Township is now hiring out. Trustee Linda Scarborough was skeptical on whether having an assessor in office a few hours per week would be enough, but Yates says locally based Northrop staff will be available to help residents when needed.
When people are building, they want to find out what is going to be the value, what is my taxes going to look like, and she'll be helping them with that. And she'll be here so many hours a week, and it'll be posted that people can come in and talk to her.
Trustee Joseph Taylor welcomed the change, saying it's part of operating in the 21st century.
When we look at New Buffalo Township, Royalton Township, great townships, right? Everybody's going this way. We have to save in order to save ourselves, right? Because this is a business.
The cost of contracting with Northrop will be about $125,000 a year. The current township assessor and her assistant will be laid off, unfortunately. Yates says the money saved from the move will be used for better ordinance enforcement and maintenance. That's a look at some of the news that we're covering in the WSJM newsroom. If you want to hear the entire newscast, we do have it as a podcast for you, so it's content on demand. Just go to our website, WSJM.com, or your podcast provider of choice, and look for the WSJM Morning News, Southwest Michigan's Morning News, presented by WSJM. Okay, why don't we start our interview right now, and then we'll get to sports. But first, let's introduce who's in the studio right now. Lori Berry is the International Key of Honor Award winner. She's an advisor for Key Club at St. Joseph High School. Correct. All right, let me make sure your microphones are on. And why don't you go around and introduce who you've brought with you and why this morning?
Wonderful, yeah. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves? Is that okay?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right.
Go ahead, make friends with that microphone. Go ahead.
All right, so my name is Joey. I'm actually Lori's son, and so I've been in Key Club all 3 years so far. I'm a junior, and it just really touched my heart. It caused me to run for a district board position this year, and I was on district board last year, but it was an application process since our chair positions, you apply for them rather than our lieutenant governors, where you actually run against other people. And so yeah, basically, yeah, that's why I'm here.
Very good. No, thank you. His mom gave him the, all right, that's it. We can talk more later. All right, next, please.
My name is Layla Garcia, and I'm a senior at St. Joseph High School. I've also been in Key Club since freshman year, and I'm the immediate past district secretary for Michigan.
Great.
And then my name is Chuhi Bott. I'm currently a junior here at St. Joseph High School, and I was recently elected the district secretary for Michigan, the Michigan district. And I also served as the past vice president of our home club and the membership development co-chair for the Michigan district.
I'm already impressed. This is amazing. Thank you for joining us this morning. Go ahead. A little bit more there.
I don't know if Joey even said his position. You want to say that?
Sure. Okay. Sorry. So I was International Partners and Projects Chair last year, and then I was elected district treasurer this year. And I'm also the outgoing president of our home Key Club as well.
Very good.
Yay.
Especially under pressure from having your mom as the Key Club advisor right here next to it. No, that's great. And Lori, if you wouldn't mind, because you're the Key Club advisor, for those who don't know, give us kind of the background. What is Key Club and why is it significant in students' lives?
Yes. So, let's start with the fact that Kiwanis, our Benton Harbor St. Joe Kiwanis, is our sponsoring club. So, and then from there, we have a whole K family that the kids can talk to you about more as we keep going. But Key Club would be the high school version then of Kiwanis. And we chartered our club in 2005. Kiwani and Bill Hanley came to our high school and said, hey, we need this leadership group at this service leadership group at this high school. So we've been a club since 2005.
Okay.
Yeah, at Key Club.
2005.
Yeah.
Okay. And so as Key Club members, as part of the high school Kiwanis, you do service projects.
Correct. Yep. It's a service leadership organization. So the students plan service, and the community will email and say, hey, we're doing this project. Are there any volunteers, from Key Club that are willing to attend and help out? So we do it that way. They also come up with their own projects. And then Key Club itself has international projects that the students can jump on and help as well.
And as advisor, what's your role?
So as advisor, my role is just one of them is to be that liaison between the community. So when I get the emails, push them out to the students, let them know those opportunities are available. I'm also here just to kind of help them figure out if they're running into a problem, something's not working exactly as planned, if they need help with funding and then, of course, at the district level, these three students all, have run in our being leaders at the state level. So I'm helping them by driving them to their meetings and making sure they have food at those meetings when necessary.
Making sure they're where they're at when they need to be.
I am not the adult in charge at that
Okay.
state level. Those they have their own district administrators at that level, but I do want to support them by helping them get there.
Outstanding. No,
yeah.
well, thank you for doing that. And thank you for shedding light on what that is. So we'll explore that more here in just a moment. We'll continue the conversation right now on the video live stream. We'll do a little bit of sports on the radio and a couple of messages, and then we'll come back and have this conversation. We're talking with Lori Berry. She's the Key Club advisor for St. Joseph Public Schools for the high school. We're also talking with Layla Garcia, Juhi Bhatt, and Joey Berry. They're all students at St. Joseph High School. We'll continue to talk about the Key Club here in just a moment and the big international award that Lori received. That's next here on WSJM.
Make it 3 straight losses and 5 of the last 7 for the Red Wings. The Wings fell at home to Carolina last night 2-1. Tonight the Blackhawks host Ottawa at 7:30.
Okay, we're back on the video live stream. Good morning. Sorry, notes. Go ahead. Any notes? No?
No. We were just talking.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's all right. All right. So, Key Club, thanks for laying the foundation. So, a lot of it has to do with leadership. Maybe you can talk a little bit about that. I mean, is there a key cornerstone, a vision, a mission of Key Club and what the students will achieve while they're in this?
Yeah, I would say Kiwanis, their mission is helping children and, from all the way infancy all the way up. And at the Key Club level, obviously, because these are high school students, the goal is to create strong leaders who are independent thinkers, problem solvers, and really put themselves out there in situations where, they might be uncomfortable, where they have to give speeches, several of them at a conference, right? Or travel to a convention in a different state and put themselves out there. I mean, these young people could go as far as being international trustees, which would put them traveling all over the world for different conventions and leadership opportunities.
Why don't we talk a little bit about some of those places, opportunities that you've taken advantage of to put yourself out there? Who wants to start?
I can talk about our international convention.
Okay.
So last year it was hosted in Atlanta, Georgia, and Michigan took quite a few people from our district to go. Since Key Club is an international organization, there were people there from all over the world. And we actually met the international president of Kiwanis as well. That is where the international president, vice president, and all trustees, like Mrs. Berry was saying, are elected for the next service year. And their job is to create organization between all of the Key Clubs across the world, help grow us in membership internationally, and just be that liaison between each other to make sure that we have everything we need to grow as districts.
Yeah, must be an awesome networking opportunity to meet people from all over the world. Did you do that?
Yeah, absolutely. I met lots of people from many different Key Clubs around the U.S. and around the world. And actually this year it's going to be in Florida. And I think that they're going to have more members this year than they did last year, since it's our 100th anniversary of Key Club International.
Okay. Where in Florida? Do you know?
Orlando, I believe.
Okay. All right. Any opportunity to get some Disney time in or anything like that?
Absolutely.
Excellent. All right. We've got to get back on the radio here in a couple of minutes, but you look like you were ready to say something as well. No?
Not necessarily. I was just going to say that our district convention, which is the state, every single year switches. This year it was in Lansing, obviously, but sometimes it's in Bay City, Detroit area. So that's kind of just in its own. The registration isn't extremely bad, like not extremely expensive, but that is an opportunity that's just kind of more local, and you can just see how amazing Key Club is just going to that, and it switches around, so you can go to different places. Hotels are pretty suitable for the amount of people that we have. So, yeah.
Excellent. All right. And some of the service projects, would we recognize some of those projects that we see here locally?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like at the district conventions, you mean?
Yeah, local projects.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So the senior prom, I'm not sure if some of you guys have gone there, but definitely that one. Should we talk about that or? Sure.
Okay, let's put a pin in it for just a second here, because we've got to get back on the air. But yeah, let's talk about some of the things that people might see but not recognize as a project of the Key Club. Good. Do you trade keys when you're at networking at district events?
Everyone always asks us that.
Because it's a Key Club.
We trade pins.
Okay, you trade pins. All right, fair enough. We'll be back in just a moment. It's the WSJM Morning Show.
inches of accumulating snow overnight tonight as temperatures drop in the 20s. And we'll top out at 35 tomorrow. Very windy conditions with wind gusts around 40 miles an hour. That happens on Thursday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
Good morning and welcome back to the WSJM Morning Show. 7:20 is the time. Temperature outside right now, 47 degrees and cloudy in Benton Harbor, although the feels like is about 10 degrees off that, 11 degrees off that. 36 degrees is the feels like. It's 45 in St. Joe, 46 in South Haven, and 47 degrees in Dowagiac right now. And we're fortunate enough to be joined by several members of Key Club. And the International Key of Honor Award winner, Lori Berry, who is at St. Joseph High School. You're in culinary arts?
Correct.
And what else?
It's food nutrition, culinary arts, and hospitality management.
Okay. All right. What's your favorite dish to make?
Ooh, in class? Well, I can tell you that in culinary this past week, we fabricated a chicken into all the pieces and parts.
Fabricated a chicken?
Yes. So they have to take the whole chicken and cut it down all the way into the parts, and then they prepare the chicken in like 5 different ways.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Do you make coq au vin?
We do not because we're not allowed to have alcohol.
Well, I guess that makes
Sorry,
sense.
I do buy alcohol-free wine, but it's just not the same.
Very nice. Okay. All right. But are they able to bone the chicken and everything like in 3 seconds flat or maybe not that fast?
No, oh, gosh,
okay.
no. Nope. We are much, much slower.
Okay. I'm not that fast. But when I used to eat meat, I used to take great pride in processing chicken because, there's an art to it.
Yeah.
There is an art to it.
And the ones that, can do it without turning green, I say to them, you could do this over and over till you get really good and be able to go that fast.
Very much so.
Yeah.
All right. So Lori Berry is also the International Key of Honor Award winner. Layla Garcia is here in the studio. She is a senior at St. Joseph Public High Schools. Also, Juhi Bhatt, right? I got that right again. Sorry. I'll fix it by the end of the thing. I've got it spelled wrong here. Joey Berry is also here, and full disclosure, he is the son of Lori Berry, but he was never forced into Key Club, right? This was of your own free will. True. Blink twice if you want help. No. All right. So talking about Key Club, we were talking about some of the public service projects that the students engage in. And the question is, what does it look like in the community? What might we see in the community or what might be happening here that is part of that public service?
Yeah, I think some of the things that the community will recognize because Kiwanis helps sponsor them. The big one that Kiwanis does is the Kaleidoscope Park. They're raising funds for the Inclusive Park. And they are getting very, very close. In fact, if you want to help donate, that's at beringcommunity.org/kaleidoscope. But yeah, so we help with the big projects that the adults are taking on, right? And then the students have created their own projects as well. We also do the pancake breakfasts, right, that you would see that Kiwanis does at the Whitcomb, and that funding has gone to Kaleidoscope this year as well. But I think the ones that the students have created and have been long-lasting, I'm going to kind of let them speak about those real quick. Want to go first?
So
Sure,
Joey's
okay.
going first. Go ahead.
So my favorite one is definitely the senior prom, and it's for senior citizens that are living at the Whitcomb Residence Center down in St. Joe, downtown, just right on the bluff. And this is one of our best projects every single year. I think we've been hosting it since 2008 or 2009, and I think my mom has definitely been a pivotal part of it. I think she started it with her board back then. And pretty much we host a local band, and that's been going the same time every single year. And it gets Key Clubbers out of their comfort zones. They dance with, and it kind of connects that gap. I feel like the kind of the older generation, the younger generation, and yeah, it's just a great time.
Nice, nice. Any others that you want to highlight?
Yeah, one of the other big things that we do is we host a lot of fundraisers. So like in our school, we hosted a fundraiser for the Thirst Project. And so the mission of the Thirst Project is to end the global water crisis. So like in our school, we hosted this big bottle drive. I think we accumulated over some like 400 plus bottles. And then we used that money, to donate it to the Thirst Project. But also in the broader community, I know we host like Culver fundraising nights at Culver's, and so there you can see a bunch of us students helping out, and then all proceeds go to the Thirst Project. So that's also a really fun thing
Excellent. Who came up with that idea?
The Thirst Project fundraiser is like kind of a state thing.
Okay.
So we have our district governor. The immediate past district governor was Jenna Morrison. And so each year, the district governor hosts like a governor's project. And so this year she decided she wanted to make it Key Club Makes Waves. And so that's kind of where we got the idea from. And then afterwards, we as a club decided, hey, we want to help out. So Joey and I helped plan out this big bottle drive with our environmental club. So we put up a bunch of posters and, we had to get approval from our school principal and all that. And then, but everyone helps out with these kinds of things. So.
Love it. Love it. Any others you want to highlight before we go ahead?
At the high school, we have a cart right by where you throw out your trays at lunch called the food waste cart. And that is something that Key Club has there so that if anyone has unopened food items, like the milk cartons or like whole fruits like apples, they put that in the cart and we take it to a fridge where anyone can just take from that fridge. And we're trying to diminish the amount of waste that students make when eating lunch or not finishing lunch.
Love that. That's a great idea, too. Well, thank you for doing that. We appreciate that. All right, let's get into the meat of why we invited you here today. Let's talk about Lori. This is all going to be about you. Mm-hmm. So Lori Berry was recognized with the International Key of Honor Award. She won that recently. She was surprised with it, as she's already told us. And this is an award that Kristen Box, the superintendent of St. Joseph Public Schools, told us it's no small thing. One of the past recipients of this was John F. Kennedy, right?
I think
Former President John F. Kennedy.
Like in 1964 maybe.
And they only give out 2 per year. Mm-hmm. And so you were one of the award winners this year. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Who among the students here wants to tell us how that all began?
So this actually started last year when on the district level, we nominated her for Outstanding Faculty Advisor, and she swept that right away. So
what is an Outstanding Faculty Advisor? How did you have to do that?
We had to acquire a few letters of recommendation from people in our Key Club and write a letter of nomination, explain every single way that she's helped us. So I wrote up 4 pages of the amazing things that she's done for our Key Club.
Give us some examples.
Like she said earlier, she helps take us to our district meetings, which are sometimes 3-4 hours away.
Okay.
She's chaperoned to the International Convention for 2 years in a row. The other one was in California, and then this past year in Georgia. She's always there for us to make sure that our projects are running smoothly and we have everything that we need to feel prepared to take on a service project.
That's great.
And then after she won the Faculty Advisor Award, we asked her about the Key of Honor, and she deliberately told us not to nominate her. So
she said, "Don't nominate me."
She said not to nominate her.
Right.
And
very humble.
So I
very
emailed
modest.
about 20 people a few months ago to ask if they were willing to write a letter of recommendation for her as long as they didn't say anything. And we got almost 15 letters of recommendation in, which the minimum was 8.
Wow.
And yeah, I was talking to someone from the international board, and she said that she loved how amazingly qualified Mrs. Berry is and that the whole board would not stop talking about her.
Wow. That's great. What were some of the things in those letters that people were writing as recommendation?
Our governor wrote one about how Mrs. Berry's been a support system for her, taking on such a large role on the district level. Our governor for Kiwanis actually has written one about how she has been to all of our meetings and has seen the work that Mrs. Berry is putting into us, even though she's not an advisor on the district level. She helps out as if she were one.
Yeah.
And she just puts in that much work that the entire district board knows who she is, even though she's a faculty advisor here.
Yeah. Juhi and Joey, what does that look like for you when you think about Mrs. Berry as a Key Club advisor?
I mean, one of the things that I put in my letter of rec to Miss Berry was like, I mean, she's the queen of Key Club. When you think of Key Club, you think of Miss Berry. And she's just always been the backbone of our club. I mean, when I talk to members across the state and I tell them what Miss Berry does, you can just see the shock and like amazement in their eyes because, yeah, she's just so amazing.
That's great.
I think one of the things for me is she pushes people to kind of get out of their comfort zone and to run for positions to expand their leadership. That's one of the biggest things I've noticed about my mom is the amount of or the number of governors who have came out of the St. Joseph Key Club to the district level, and just people who have been running, like all three of us. She kind of pushes that and encourages you to. Like, for example, when I was a freshman, I know that I wouldn't have done this, obviously, but now I've grown, and yeah, so that's one of the biggest things for me.
It's outstanding. That's outstanding. Well,
and I have to write a speech.
Oh, you have to write a
At
speech?
International Convention, I have to give a speech. Exactly.
So that's upcoming still?
It's upcoming in
Okay.
July.
How long is the speech going to have to be?
I have no details yet.
Okay.
But in thinking back to the past two international conventions that I attended and listening to the Key of Honor speakers there, it's quite long. So.
Yeah. Wow.
Not quite a TED Talk, but it's quite long. So, but I was in preparation for that, I started brainstorming and I was looking through old information. And I was also shocked, Joey, just to realize how many students we've had at the state level. I think I stopped counting in 2011 and I was already at 12 or 13 students on board at some level. That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. For Little St. Joe. We had 36 schools, right, at our state convention this past July with 350 members. So and that was in the heyday pre-COVID, we would have had 500 plus students and more schools, right? So thinking back, for Little St. Joe to have that kind of a run, you guys
That's great.
You're strong.
That's and I have to say I'm very impressed at all of your public speaking skill and ability. Is that something that you learn or you are charged with in Key Club?
Well, they
are they
officers.
just natural?
Well, I think it's partly natural, but they're also they get a lot of practice. They're officers, so they run we meet every Wednesday morning.
Okay.
So we have 126 members, I think, now in our club, and they have to run that meeting and speak in front of them every Wednesday morning. So they get a lot of practice.
You have 126 members in your club?
Yeah,
that's great.
I know.
How does that compare for other schools of similar size?
It really just depends. Lake Shore's Key Club is over 200.
Okay.
Katie Woodard, their advisors, they have a really strong club. What would you guys say? Percentage-wise, I would say for our size school, it's pretty big. Yeah. And then some clubs are as small as, 15?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But they're also mighty clubs. They do amazing projects, too, even these tiny little clubs. But, yeah.
We're talking with Lori Berry. She is the faculty advisor, student advisor. Both.
Faculty. Yeah.
Faculty.
Well, yes. And then our Kiwanis advisor is Ashley Schulte.
Oh,
So,
okay. Yeah, we know Ashley too. Okay, very good. All right. Well, we're talking with her and students who are part of the Key Club here, Layla, Juhi, and Joey, and we'll be back in a few moments to continue this conversation. I'll ask you a little bit more about Key Club and your background in joining Key Club. The first time you joined.
Perfect.
And we'll talk about that here in a few moments on WSJM. We've got to get some financial news in. We have a couple messages. Then we'll get the Bloomberg report and then our ABC World and National News. A look at what we're covering in the WSJM newsroom, weather, sports, and a whole lot more on WSJM.
Would you call free checking that pays you cash back on purchases unbelievable? No. It's free checking.
Okay. How we doing so far? Good morning and welcome back to the video live stream. We're doing all right?
Yeah, great.
Okay, good. How are we doing over there?
Good.
Everything good? Okay, all right. Let's see. I'm checking in on the video live stream to see what people are saying. My son is on there, Stuart. Hello, Stuart. Good morning. Let's see. Teresa says he goes to college in New York, and yet he has time to get up and watch the show every morning, which I love. Yeah, he's my number one son fan. All right, let's see. So Teresa Yor says good morning. Bill says good morning as well.
Bill Hanley?
Bill Dollar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which isn't his real name because his Facebook account was hacked at some point and he had to come up with a different name. And yeah, so it's Bill Dollar, Dollar Bill. I don't know. Anyway, he's a great individual. He does race cars and stuff like that. Let's see, what else? Okay, so, Stuart says Niles, when he was there, had 20 people in their Key Club.
Yep.
And so if you think about the number of folks in the St. Joseph High School and the Lakeshore, sounds like they have a very strong club as well. That's great.
Yeah, and I remember we had a student from Niles on board. At one point, this was probably back in 2012, 2013, and one of our young men won his position, Matt Denai, at that SLC happened to be in Detroit, and if you win your position, you don't leave at noon. You stay until 3 because you have training for your new leadership position. Well, when you have a busload of kids, it's really hard to ask them to stay longer, right? So I vividly remember calling Matt's parents and saying, "Are you comfortable with your young man driving home with this other high school student from Niles, right?
Yeah.
From Detroit,
my
because they need
gosh.
to stay longer." And those are kind of the hard decisions that kids who seek out these positions, they have to start making. Like, wow, my child is now becoming.
It's giving me anxiety just thinking about it.
And they did, and of course it was great. And then from there, they're of course young men now, but.
That's fantastic. When did you first join Kiwanis?
So I started Key Club in 2005. We chartered our club. Ashley Schulte was Ashley Stickney then. She was our first president of the club.
No kidding.
When she was in high school. Mm-hmm. And then I actually am a new Kiwanian. I've only been a Kiwanian for 2 years. That happened so my daughter, Clara, actually, who's now graduated, was our governor at the state of Michigan. So she was a district governor. And some of the DA, the leaders at the district level, the adults, said, "Lori, why aren't you a Kiwanian? I'm going to pay for your membership to be a Kiwanian." And then, of course, after that, you fall in love. And so I've just been a member now since. But I'm unable to attend the meetings because they're Tuesdays at noon and I'm teaching. But I love it. I love being a Kiwanian.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that. We'll let's see. I think I just hit the computer wrong.
But we're all part of the family.
Oh, good. One thing that I wanted to ask about is, start with Joey. Was it a hard decision to become a member of Key Club? Sorry, microphone.
Oh, right.
No, I don't think it was. I honestly just kind of joined. I was looking to get involved some way in school, but my sister encouraged me. Mom obviously encouraged me. So it was kind of just a reflex decision. Yeah. So when I joined, I was like, all right, let's go. But yeah.
And you're in leadership right now. Your position again is?
District treasurer.
Okay. You had to run for this?
Yeah, I was against one other person. So.
Okay. What was your campaign platform?
My acronym was FAMILY. So it was it stood for fundraise, accurate, market, integrity, leadership, and then and then yield was the last one. Why? So yeah, that was pretty much my campaign.
What does yield stand for?
So kind of to yield actual achievements, like to see, because sometimes when people are running, they say stuff, but they don't actually like follow through with that.
That never happens in politics. What are you talking about?
Yeah. So
okay. Wow, that's great. Now, do you have plans for higher education?
Yeah, I do.
What do you want to do?
I really like math, so I think I either want to go into. I'm kind of juggling what I want to go into, but I'm thinking maybe like finance or economics or some sort of. I was actually just recently talking to my mom about maybe hotel administration. I honestly don't know. It's just been kind of juggling all around, but yeah.
That's great. Both I have 3 sons, and 2 of them are already in college. One's at Cornell in New York, and the other is at Ross at the University of Michigan. So if you're looking for somebody to talk to about the path they followed, let me know.
Wow. Okay.
Be happy to do that. All right, let's go on. You joined Key Club. Why did you join?
So Mrs. Berry mentioned this a little bit before.
Talking with Layla, sorry. Go ahead.
But there's a Kiwanis family, so there are many tiers for different age levels. And actually, Upton Middle School in St. Joseph has what's called a Builders Club, which is the exact same thing, just for middle school. And I joined that in 6th grade. I was an officer all 3 years until I was president in 8th grade. And so when I found out that Key Club does the same service projects, and it's the same type of club, it's just a different name for the high school version of it, I immediately joined because I fell in love with service from Builders Club. Yeah. And it was just a very natural decision for me.
Planning to go to college?
Yes.
What are you planning to do?
I want to go into political science.
Oh, okay. That'll be interesting. Why do you want political science?
I've just always been really interested in it, and I just really like working with people and trying to figure out how communities work and operate.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I tell you, from a news perspective, it truly is, because you think about, okay, people have ideas, but then how do you get them through? How do they get heard? Anything that we see that comes across our threshold for news, it started somewhere with somebody with an idea or an issue or a problem or an opportunity. And so it's interesting to see how those things work through. All right, be back in just a moment. We've got to get some news here. It's WSJM Morning Show. And good morning and welcome back to the WSJM Morning Show. I have that on. Okay. Welcome and good morning. Welcome back to the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. We've got some news here to talk about in just a couple of minutes. Make sure I'm doing all the right things here. Am I getting the right feed? Okay. So many buttons to push. The temperature outside right now, we are up in the upper 40s, and we're supposed to stay probably at 50 or under today before we get some nasty weather coming through this evening. We've got rainfall, an 80% chance of snowfall, or rainfall that is, throughout the day, and then that's going to lead into potential for snowfall this evening, and so we're keeping an eye on that. So be aware if you're driving around this evening, we do have a chance of snow, maybe 1, maybe 2 inch accumulation. It's going to be windy as well. Tonight, the gusts out of the northwest could go up to 45 miles per hour. Otherwise, northwest winds 20 to 25 miles per hour. Thursday becoming partly sunny, windy, and cold. A slight chance of snow showers early, a high around 35 degrees, and northwest winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. Gusts up to 35. We're continuing our discussion with Key Club. They're talking about all the great things that they're doing, both in our community and out and about. And in fact, we have an International Key Club winner. Let me get the actual title is the International Key of Honor Award winner, Lori Berry. She's with St. Joseph Public Schools. Going to talk to her a little bit more about her Key Club experiences on the WSJM Morning Show. We've got news coming up next from ABC. Then we'll have our local news, and then we'll have sports with Dave Wolf.
Thing that came close to a bipartisan moment was applause for the family of Corey Comprator, who was killed at the president's rally in Butler, Pennsylvania last summer. That was it. It was the only thing that got many Democrats on their feet. Certainly was not policy comments from the president throughout this speech.
The president vowing to continue his swift campaign to reshape the federal government and to radically reform longstanding policies on the economy, immigration, and foreign policy. The IRS is the latest government agency drafting up plans to cut its workforce roughly in half. Israel has once again cut off food, medicine, and other supplies to Gaza. Now that the first phase of the ceasefire has ended, Israel so far delaying moving into phase 2. This is ABC News.
WSJM News Now. Team coverage from the WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
742 WSJM Morning Show continues. We have in-studio guests, and then we'll have at 8 o'clock our next newscast. We'll have the latest from ABC for world and national news, and then our local news. In our local newsroom, we're covering Congressman Tim Walberg and Congressman Bill Huizenga. They had reactions to President Donald Trump's address to a joint session of Congress last night. We'll tell you what they thought. Also, Michigan's U.S. Senator Elissa Slotkin delivered the Democrat response to the president's speech. So we'll have stories on those. Also, the Benton Harbor School District has fired their assistant coach for basketball, who threw a basketball at the referee following last week's contentious basketball game between Benton Harbor and Buchanan. More on that investigation is coming up. And finally, the South Haven City Council is taking steps to enhance beach access for all by accepting a donation of 2 ADA-compliant wheelchairs from the South Haven Visitors Bureau. So we'll talk about those stories and more. That's all coming up right here on the WSJM Morning Show. We've got sports coming up next with Dave Wolf. That's after a look at state news.
The Michigan News Network.
I'm Beth Fisher. President.
All right, back on the video live stream here. I think I have the buttons in order. Juhi, tell us a little bit about your experience. Why did you join Kiwanis?
Yeah, so I actually moved here. I moved to Michigan in 2021, and I didn't really know that much about St. Joe.
Yeah.
And
where'd you move from, may I ask?
Dallas, Texas.
Oh, goodness gracious. You
Yeah.
must be loving the weather here.
Oh yeah, I actually really love it.
Okay.
Like genuinely, it's so much. I love it so much more than Dallas. I love the cold. But
Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, so-
Probably fewer scorpions and snakes down there.
Yeah, well, I
Okay.
mean Dallas is pretty much like very
Urban,
city.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So not much. It was mainly just concrete stuff there.
Yeah.
That was
Okay. Fair enough.
But yeah, I joined my freshman year because all my friends were joining, and I also heard that it was like a good way to get involved in the community. And then I think one of the biggest pieces of advice that I heard was like, your freshman year, you should join as many clubs as possible. And so I just joined, and then I don't know, like a couple months in, I was like, oh yeah, I want to stay in here.
This
I
is for
really
you.
love this. Yeah.
That's great. And so you ran for a position as well.
Yes.
And you are currently?
I'm currently the district secretary.
Okay. What's your role there?
So essentially, I help kind of manage and support the secretaries and club officers across Michigan. One of the kind of main things that I do is I sort of track the monthly report forms that come in from clubs. And so I'm kind of that liaison between like what the clubs are saying, what they need, and then our lieutenant governors and our governor. And then I also track the election report forms. And it's just making sure that everything in the Key Club Michigan database is updated and everyone's voice is being heard.
Okay. Thank you for that. And higher education plans?
Yes. Yeah. I want to be an astrophysicist.
Oh, wow. Yeah. How did you get hooked up with that?
So I moved in 8th grade here, and then I moved in pretty late. And so my counselors just kind of put me in the astronomy class at St. Joe. And I was like, oh, I don't want to do astronomy. But then I took it, and then I was like, oh my God, I love this so much. And yeah, I don't know. It's just been history since then.
That's great. Yeah. Do you keep an eye on all the different space things that are happening?
Oh, yeah.
Like the moon landing over the weekend?
Yeah. Well, and then there was the Great Planetary Alignment.
Yes.
That happened on Friday. So me and my friends met up and checked that out. So.
Could you see it?
No, because it was cloudy. But,
there's probably video out there somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were just enjoying though.
That's really great. Thank you for sharing that. All right, at 7:46, it's the WSJM morning show. The video live stream is going on. Lori, you're artful at how we keep brushing over the honor that you received. So let's talk some more about that. Is that all right? Should we do that? All right. So Lori received the International Key of Honor Award, and it's the highest. I got this from the Key Club website. The highest recognition award presented by Key Club International to an advisor who has made a lifelong positive impact upon youth in general and Key Club specifically, or to an organization that should be honored for long-term support. No more than 2 keys of honor may be awarded in any given year. Nominations are sent by the Key Club International, or sent to the Key Club International board for judging. And so we've already learned that you had a number of different nomination letters coming from the students, who they helped generate those letters of nomination for. We already know that the board couldn't stop talking about you, and we now also know that you're going to have to give a speech to accept the award.
Yes.
What are you going to focus on in that speech?
Oh my gosh, I'm glad you asked. I don't know yet, but I have till July, so I have plenty of time. But in
should we brainstorm?
I have started.
Yeah, let's talk about AI. We could do no.
No, I woke up this past weekend with, you know how you'll wake up and you'll have rapid fire thoughts. So I ran over to my laptop and started trying to throw them all down. But one of the things that I started doing was I'm starting to Facebook stalk a little bit my former students, going all the way back to, since 2005. And I really think that will be the crux of my speech will be when you have support from a strong organization and they push me, right, to then push my students. So it kind of trickles how it's supposed to all the way down. And then coming from, Christina Hernandez is our Builders Club faculty advisor. She really does amazing things with the middle school. So those students, just like Layla said, come up to the high school excited. It's just, I don't know how to describe it, but it works so well together that I think that's probably what my speech will focus on is the purpose of this organization is to help youth figure out who they are, feel strong, and then I'll just fill it with a bunch of stories because Lord knows I have a ton of stories about these kids.
Tell us
these
a story.
Now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my goodness. Oh, now I have to think about.
Put you on the spot. We love storytelling here.
Oh gosh, some of them I have to actually ask permission from the students, to be honest with you, before I share.
Okay, all right.
I really do, but just I can be general and say I have seen over my time where students have overcome lots of things, right? Lots of obstacles, whether that be real or imagined, right? But they're when they get in this club, they find their people, if that makes sense, and they're able then to shine, like figure it out. And say, oh my gosh, I can do this. And I don't have to let this thing hold me back. And I can go forward. And if I do sort of fall or stammer or I don't win, right? Like we've been at plenty of district conventions where students run for an office and they don't win. And it's a lot of tears and your heart is ripping out of your chest. But then, gosh, that opened a door I didn't realize would open for me. Right now, I have this happening or that happening. And had I been on district board, I might not have been able to do this or that. And so just those life lessons that we all know when we're older, right? When we're approaching 50.
Yeah.
But when you're younger, you don't have that same perspective. So I'm sure my speech will be a whole bunch of stories that sort of show how this organization has helped all of those people in this small community, right, reach potential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love the way you're thinking about that.
Thanks.
So the speech is in July?
The speech is in July.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't know
in
who
Orlando.
my fellow key honor person is. I'm curious.
So it's up to 2 individuals.
Correct. So maybe
There
it is
was-
just me. Yikes.
Yeah. So you don't know if there's another one.
I don't know yet. No, I
Okay.
haven't. No, I haven't heard. So
It's like unicorns in the wild. Just keep an eye out. See if there's another one out there.
I
know. All right. We're going to do our Moody on the Market update in just a moment. And in that, we'll talk a little bit about maybe some of the folks and organizations you want to thank as support for Key Club. And then any other stories that the students want to share. Welcome for that as well. It's 7:51. It's the WSJM Morning Show.
Evening. We'll see about 1 inch to 2 inches of accumulating snow overnight tonight as temperatures drop in the 20s. And we'll top out at 35 tomorrow. Very windy conditions with wind gusts around 40 miles an hour. That happens on Thursday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
All right, 7:51, and we've got news coming up from ABC at 8 o'clock, then our local WSJM news, and then we'll have sports as well. It's the WSJM Morning Show. Good morning. I'm Ken Lundberg. It's March 5th. It's Wednesday, and we've got a temperature of 47 degrees in Benton Harbor, 45 in St. Joseph, 46 in South Haven. The feels like in St. Joe right now, 33 degrees. We're talking this morning with a whole bunch of individuals, and we're very happy to have Lori Berry here. She's the student advisor, the faculty advisor for Key Club at St. Joseph Public Schools at the high school. She's also the International Key of Honor Award winner. Also in the studio this morning, Layla Garcia, who's a senior there, Juhi Bhatt, who's a junior, and Joey Berry, who's also a junior, and happens to be the son of Lori Berry as well. No pressure. You're gonna have to top your mom by getting the International Key of Honor Award. You got plans for that yet?
Not yet, no.
Okay, all right. Let's make this part of our Moody on the Market update. Moody on the Market update is brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today. They are your local auto owner's insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles. And what we talk about during the Moody on the Market update is stories that we filed at moodyonthemarket.com, which typically fall into 3 buckets: business updates, life in Southwest Michigan and why we love it here, and then interesting people you should know. And I think we fill a couple of buckets there: life in Southwest Michigan and why we love it here, and interesting people you should know by bringing in Lori Berry. So thank you for coming in today.
You're welcome.
We appreciate you and what you're doing and helping the students become great adults in society. So tell us, who do you want to, anyone you want to thank for their support of Key Club?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, of
Bring that
course-
microphone up close. Sorry.
Sorry.
Yep.
Yes, of course. For first and foremost, the Kiwanians, right? They're always supportive. They come to these service events with these students. They help chaperone events. I mean, they're always there. So that's amazing. I mentioned Christina Hernandez, our Builders Club. I also really want to thank our St. Joe Public Schools Foundation. They have helped. We write grants for the students to attend these events.
Because it's not cheap and it's not free.
It's not cheap. It's certainly not free.
Yeah. Because you've got
and-
transportation, you've got hotel in some cases.
Yeah, and
All that.
registration for the
Yep.
conventions. And and these students are planning these conventions. You're looking at 3 students who literally planned the state convention in Lansing this past year.
That's great.
Down to the final details. So, we have many event planners right here in the room with us.
So you plan the agenda for the state convention?
Yeah, so the agenda usually stays the same throughout every year, but
Come on, change it up.
But we did change up how opening session was to make it more like a rally instead of like a meeting style to get everyone excited for the weekend ahead. We planned the workshops, what service projects, what presentations we were giving everyone, that kind of thing.
That's great. Do you book the speakers?
Yes, we do have to book a speaker. This year it was actually from the Thirst Project, The Thirst Project is an organization, like we said before, that helps end the water crisis.
Yeah.
And we had a representative actually from the area, and he came and talked to us about that project.
Nice. Very good. All right.
And Jordan De La Cruz, we should mention, she is our district administrator for the state of Michigan of Key Club. And so she is their boss, right, in a sense, and their mentor, and she's incredible.
That's
so
great.
We're lucky.
That's fantastic. Well, congratulations again on winning the International Key of Honor Award. And I love that it was a surprise and that you were shocked that they were reading about somebody who was doing amazing things and it turned out to be you.
I know, isn't that funny?
That is great. That is great. You must have been beaming.
I was beaming. I remember when I walked up, I was pointing at them because I was trying to figure out who did this and who was gonna
Who's gonna pay?
Who's getting in trouble?
That's fantastic. Anything else that any of you want to share today, stories or otherwise? Come on, don't silence now. All right, good enough. Well, thank you for joining us this morning. We appreciate you.
This
Absolutely.
was wonderful.
Anytime. Please come back, and we're going to be watching. Let us know when the speech is going to be and how we can watch it or stream it or whatever, and we'll make sure we get news clips into the newscast as well.
Thanks. Yeah, that could be fun.
Absolutely. Lori Berry, who is the International Key of Honor Award winner and joins the ranks of John F. Kennedy. So that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. You laugh, but it's amazing.
It is cool. I joked with the kids earlier that the award has gone downhill since the 60s. The requirements have lightened.
Yeah. Also here today, Layla Garcia, Juhi Bott, and Joey Berry. Thank you all for joining us this morning. Appreciate it, and I hope we got an excused absence from start of class today. Is that all right? Is it?
We're on late start, so
you're on late start today, so you're in good shape.
These kids will be headed to their meeting. They have their Wednesday morning Key Club meeting
Fantastic.
at 8:20. So look at that. You got them out just in time.
All right. Well, thank you. And we'll be back with news in just a moment on the WSJM Morning Show.
Insurance Management Service is your local auto owner's insurance agency in St. Joseph and Niles.
And a quick goodbye to those on the video live stream this morning. Thank you again for joining us, and congratulations on the award. I can tell you're very committed.
Thank you, Ken. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you. Appreciate you, Joey and Layla and Juhi. Appreciate your demonstrating leadership and giving back to the community that you live in. Thank you. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. And there's congratulations coming in on the video live stream as well. So we, if you missed any part of this, and Jim Berry is there. He says, "Good morning, congratulations, and great work, Key Clubbers."
Oh, that's my husband. He listens to you every single morning. He works in St. Joe County.
He does?
Yeah, he's their CTE director, their career and tech ed at the ISD, and he has an hour plus drive, and he listens to you every morning.
Jim Berry, thank you very much for listening. We appreciate you, and thank you for what you do, and thanks for letting us spend time with folks here today. All right, it's 7:57. We've got news in just a moment. It's the WSJM Morning Show, and we'll be back tomorrow. Or we'll stay on the radio today, but we'll be back on the video live stream tomorrow. All right, see ya.